Hey guys, today on Thank God I'm a Foodie, we are talking to Jenny Zheng from Little Fluffy Head Cafe. We're going to cover how she got from bioengineering into cheesy tea. We're going to talk about some of her inspirations, her travels to Asia, and everything in between.
Everybody make sure you check us out on Instagram at TNE Mag Food and
subscribe to our magazine at
Yes.
TNEmagazine.com. And if you subscribe with code
TGIF,
you get
30% off your subscription.
All right, everyone, welcome to TGIF. Thank God I'm a Foodie, a show hosted by our food reporter and LAX chef, Brian D. On TGIF, you can bet your burgers we will be featuring the best of LA's minority-owned and operated eateries. That's restaurants, food trucks, cooking schools, food festivals, and much, much more. I promise you will not want to miss the Asian, Middle Eastern, American, Latin, and soul food dishes that we will be showing on the show. So sit back and enjoy each and every bite, from breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner, and dessert.
Hi, I'm Jenny from Little Fluffy Head Cafe. Thanks TNE for having me here today. Please don't forget to check out our cafe on 203 West 7th Street in downtown Los Angeles. Don't forget to mention TGIF to get a 10% discount.
We are here today on Thank God I'm a Foodie. I'm your host, Bryant. Today we have Jenny from Little Fluffy Head Cafe and my lovely co-host, Miss Jamie.
Hi.
Jamie, you want to lead it off as usual?
Sure. So we want to talk to you a little bit about the business that you own, if you want to tell everyone what it is that you do.
Sure. So I'm the owner of Little Fluffy Head Cafe. What we do is we're a specialty tea shop where we specialize in cheese tea drinks. If you haven't heard of cheese tea, it's actually tea with the whipped cream cheese on top. It's really delicious and refreshing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that sounds great. So how did you come up with the idea for cheese tea? That's not anything I'd ever heard of here before.
Actually, I'm not the original creator of the cheese tea. When I knew about the cheese tea, it was already pretty trendy back in Asia.
Okay.
So I traveled back to Asia about 2 years ago, and it was a popular drink among like younger generations. So my friend recommended me the drink, and like most people, my original thought was, what is cheese tea? Why would you put cheese in tea?
Yeah.
But I gotta try it. So when I tried it, it was actually a well-balanced flavor, and then it's refreshing. I just fell in love immediately. And back then, no one had heard of cheese tea in the States.
Yeah.
And I knew I just gotta bring it back to the States, share it with friends and neighborhood.
Very cool. So you touched on it. So you said it's a whipped cream cheese on top.
Yes, that's
Can you
right.
give us a little more information? Like, give us a little, without divulging your trade secrets.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Can you just elaborate on that a little bit so people maybe get a better idea of what exactly is going on top of the tea?
Right. So it's not gonna be a block of cheese on top of the tea. So it's actually a combination with milk, whipping cream, a little bit of pink salt, and a little bit of sugar and the cream and the cheese in it.
Okay.
So it's a mixture of a sweet and savory.
Okay. Is it light, or is it a little more heavier because of the cream cheese, or
Right.
or what is it? I mean.
We have two different kinds of cheese that we're using. We either use cream cheese or we use white cheddar cheese.
Oh, okay.
They're all pretty light and subtle, but compared to the cream cheese, the cheddar cheese is stronger.
Okay. Interesting. Very
So
cool.
everyone check out Little Fluffy Heads Cafe Instagram, because their pictures of their drinks are so beautiful. But I kind of want to know, what's the correct way to drink it? Are you supposed to stir everything together, or do you drink the tea first and let the cream fall to the bottom? What's the best way to go about drinking them?
I think the fun about drinking cheese tea is that you can
Do it however.
do it however you like it. You can create your own way. But I always recommend people to sip it at the 45 degrees angle first, so you can get both the tea and the cheese together. And then when it's halfway, you use a straw to mix it.
Okay.
So it tastes a little bit like Thai tea.
Oh, okay. That makes
Oh,
sense.
okay.
Similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gives a good idea.
So, as with that, like a lot of the other, like the boba tea shops
Right.
and that, can you get like the bobas and the jellies? Is that something, or is it just usually the whipped cheese on top, and then the tea?
I would say the original cheese tea is just the tea and the whipped cheese on top, because the boba comes with a little bit of sweetness too, and that's a different kind of sweetness compared to the sweetness in the tea.
Okay.
It makes the tea sweeter, but then it kind of
it changes the whole flavor profile.
Changes the flavor a little bit.
All right.
You want to start with the original taste.
Okay. Of course, definitely, definitely.
So we know a little bit about your business. Now we want to know a little bit about you. I was reading that you started out getting a degree in bioengineering, right?
Yes.
So how did you decide to switch gears so much into what you're doing now?
So when I was getting my master's degree, I was actually working in this tea shop part-time.
Okay.
And I was really enjoying talking to people while I was making the drink. It was a really active experience. So then I knew that I really like working in a tea shop.
Okay.
But I didn't know I was going to open a tea shop right after I graduated. Not until I found out about cheese tea and I really want to bring this recipe back to state. Then I decided that okay, maybe I want to put it on top of my list right now to open a shop instead of going to the norm, like the regular career, like right after school.
Okay, very cool. Tell us a little bit more about your background, like where you're from. Was food an important part of your household growing up? Maybe you have a favorite food memory or a favorite dish that you like to eat. Just kind of what inspired you to take this leap as well. To besides the love of the cheese tea, which I get, it sounds really good to me, and I'm excited to try it. But kind of what in your background inspired you to take this chance to open up this tea shop?
I would say I've been a foodie my whole life. When I was in elementary school, I would go to this boba tea shop every day to get the boba, and because I'm from China, and in China you have different kind of way to cooking. You have steaming, stir fry, you have deep fry, like all different kind of methods. And I guess in this kind of environment, I'm always really sensitive to taste. And when I found out about cheese tea, it's something that I've never tasted before. Like I have no idea how would people came up with the original concept. Because cheese and tea, it's so different.
Definitely.
And that just inspired me to start working in this business.
Okay.
So I noticed when I was looking through your website and your Instagram that you have a bunch of different flavor combinations of different teas. How do you come up with that? What is your inspiration for those things?
So whenever I'm trying out a new combination, I always look for the third taste, like the subtle third flavor. It's like, for example, when I'm drinking this black tea, it's bitter the first taste, but then there's this mellow kind of aftertaste. So, and then when I'm thinking of the third taste, I would think that okay, what kind of cream that has similar kind of mellow taste that will work with this tea. Okay. That's how I figure out different kind of combinations.
That's awesome.
Do you have what's your favorite combination that you have right now, like that you would drink every day or do drink every day?
I like cheese very much, and I like strong cheese.
So you like the stinky cheeses?
I do. I like goat cheese or goat cheese.
Okay. I love goat cheese too, actually.
So my favorite combination right now would be black tea with cheddar cheese.
Okay. Oh wow, that sounds good.
It sounds interesting.
It does, but
I need to try it. How do you make a cheddar cheese into a cream on top of a tea? Not that you have to tell me,
right?
But I need to know, so I need to try it.
Yeah, it's actually really refreshing.
It sounds like it.
It kind of reminds me of like cheese on top of apple pie. It's like something that's totally unfamiliar that you think would be weird, but it's not. Like it just goes.
Yeah, the tastes are actually pretty familiar to the people, and we have customers say that it tastes like salty milkshake.
Okay, I can see that.
That sounds good.
Yeah, like a salted like you have the salted caramel or something like that. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So we know you've been getting a lot of you guys are blown up. You're on KTLA, all this stuff. Like, is that something you envisioned for yourself, or did you kind of just want to just do this little tea shop and then, you know, just kind of do your thing, or how did that, you know, how has that affected your? Obviously, I know it's been good for the business, but
Right.
did you anticipate like all the press that you're getting for what you're doing?
That's actually a really a big surprise for me, because at first I was actually just thinking about starting this small tea shop, you know, kind of just introduce people slowly what cheese tea is, instead of just being like a blast.
Okay.
So that actually that it is helping our business, but also it add a lot of pressure on us, because we've only been open for 5 months.
Oh,
There are a lot of stuff that we need to adjust. And then there's the people coming in wanting to try the cheese tea, and then we're trying to give everyone like the perfect cheese tea every time they walk in.
Yeah, and people are notoriously impatient, so I can totally imagine.
Right.
I can totally imagine that being, you know, being overwhelmed, being a problem, especially in the first 6 months. You're still trying to figure out. You're trying to figure things out still.
Yeah.
And so now, you know, now being overwhelmed, I can see that being a little bit tougher. So definitely.
So since you have had so much success, for those of you who don't live in LA, Jenny's been all over the place recently. What advice would you give for people who are looking to go into the industry, and kind of how to handle that gracefully, because that's what you've been doing. So what advice would you have for anyone who's coming into the industry?
I would say no matter which industry you're going into, always have a plan of what you wanted to do, and then list out all the possibilities, and then all the problems you have, and then all the possible solutions, and kind of have a really organized, I would say an organized plan. So you won't be like so you know that this might be the first step I want to do, and then what's the next step, like that.
Okay. I do have a question. Kind of backtracking a little bit from your transition from bioengineering to the business. Were your parents supportive on that? You know, because I know some Asian parents are they're very like, okay, this is what you're gonna do, and you don't have any choice in the matter.
Yeah.
So were they supportive of, like, especially when you were almost done with your degree and about to finish, were they supportive of you with that, or how did that go over a little bit?
Luckily, I have a really supportive family.
Okay.
That's actually where part of the name coming from.
Oh, okay.
So the name Little Fluffy Cafe actually comes from, it's inspired by my mom's gift to me on my 18th birthday.
Oh, wow.
And she's been supportive the whole time.
Very cool.
So when on my 18th birthday, she gave me this stuffed toy that has my name on it. And then I call it Little Fluffy Head.
That's
So
cute.
I named the cafe after this toy, also a reminder
It's
that
very appropriate.
Yeah, definitely.
and also really appropriate for the cheese tea, because we call them fluffy teas,
Okay.
with fluffy cream on top. So I'm really lucky to have a really supportive family, because what they say to me is that no matter what I'm doing, it's always a lesson.
It's true.
It doesn't necessarily have to be going into the field of bioengineering. So like anything you do, it's a learning lesson.
Definitely.
Do they like the cheese tea as much as you do, your family?
My dad loves it, but my mom, I would say she like it lighter. She like
Not
the
so
tea.
cheesy.
Not so cheesy. She like the tea.
Oh,
She like the tea.
That's good.
So what actually were you, when you went back to Asia to find it, did you go to China? What country were you in where they actually do the cheese tea?
So I'm from the Canton province.
Okay.
That's actually, I think, where the big brands that are making cheese tea now. So that's how I got to try the cheese tea in the first place.
Okay.
Very Did you do a lot of research before opening up your business on cheese tea? Did you go back to Asia, or how did you get all the information that you got to start your business?
I did a lot of research on recipe-wise, and then also I learned about all different kinds of cheese. You know, how are they being processed. Also, I'm from a country where people drink a lot of tea, but then I didn't really start looking into tea culture, the background of tea, until I start this cheese tea business. So definitely a lot of research and development.
I know dairy isn't really that prominent in Asian countries.
Right.
How did you go about doing your research for cheese when that's not something that was originally, had anything to do with where you're from? How did cheese and tea come together is kind of what I'm asking.
I guess back in China, they only have one kind of cheese. I guess because a lot of people, they don't normally consume that many dairy. That's why they don't have that many cheese options. So when I got back to the States and I'm searching on the cheese tea like combination, I have all these options of cheese. So that's actually really
crazy over here.
right. So that's actually really helpful for me because I got a lot of more resources.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Do you have any? Do you have? So we have our editor-in-chief is a lifelong vegan.
Okay.
So do you have any vegan options? Do you can you make anything out of like coconut milk or anything like that that might be vegan friendly? Do you have that option? Especially here in LA, there's so many vegans and vegetarians. Do you have an option for those people?
We're working on having a vegan cheese cream option.
Oh, cool.
It's not out yet, but we're getting there. And then also right now we are having non-dairy milk tea.
Okay.
So we put non-dairy milk in our teas.
Very nice. Very nice. What flavors? I don't want you to divulge any trade secrets. But do you have a flavor that you're working on, or a combination that you're working on that you're just really excited to release, that you think is just going to be huge? Do you have something like that?
The next thing I want to work is either coming up with a third cheese option, or coming up with a different kind of tea base. I'm thinking about maybe this time I could try with goat cheese. Maybe.
that tanginess might actually work.
Play a good part.
Yeah, that might be a good part.
Right.
So that'd be fun.
And also I'm thinking about maybe putting cheese in Thai tea, since a lot of people like the flavor of Thai tea.
Okay.
And the flavor
like a
of
little twist on Thai tea.
Right.
That would be great.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. So tell us, you've only been open 5 months, and you're getting all this press, and I'm sure you have lions out the corner. So what's your worst horror story so far since you've been open? Like the worst day you've had at your tea shop. Like, did you run out of everything, and or did something break and it just caused this huge big problem? But what was your worst day so far?
On the very first day that we opened, we had 100 orders already.
Oh wow!
Oh my gosh!
And I didn't anticipate that any of that. So we ran out of tea back in December.
Oh wow!
And because all our tea are imported from all over the world, and it takes about a month and a half for them to ship to here.
Oh wow!
Same for the lid for drinking the cheese tea. It's specially designed just for drinking the cheese tea.
Oh wow!
So all those need time to be delivered to here. So we had almost like a month of supply shortage.
Wow.
That was like
That's so stressful
Yeah,
as a business owner. Oh my goodness.
I can only imagine having to anticipate your usage, 2 months out, so you can make sure, and especially if you're getting that busy, like how do you, so that's
one of the stresses of the restaurant industry. You can't over order because you can't have a bunch of stuff laying around your place. But if you under order, you're screwed. So it's one of the hardest balances in the restaurant industry.
Definitely.
It's a tough one.
So if you could, I know you talked a little bit about, what would take to open your restaurant, but what other advice could you give to somebody who would be willing, wants to start their own business, whether it's a food business or anything, what other advice could you give to somebody that wanted to start their own business?
I would say, if you really have passion, like if you're really passionate about this one particular thing, you should at least try it.
Give it a go.
Yeah,
give it a go.
Definitely.
It's not worth it without the risk, right? You gotta do it.
That's true.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you want to grow? Do you want to franchise? Like or do you want to just keep them all, in the family, so to speak? But where do you see yourself in 5 years with Little Fluffy Head?
My goal is to have at least everyone try cheese tea.
That's a lofty goal.
That is a lofty
goal. Start with us, please.
Yes.
We want to try cheese tea.
We'll start here, and then we'll go from there.
And then they can decide whether they like it or not.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree. People are getting a lot more adventurous with their food, but then my philosophy is at least try it once. Whether you like it or not, you might surprise yourself, but at least be open enough to try everything at least once, because you never know.
Especially if the person making it is so passionate about it. That's where you gotta go. That's what inspires me to try things, when I know someone is making things out of love and because just what you want out of your business for everyone to try it. That's such a non-monetary goal that you just want to put your product out there. That makes me want to go get it.
Definitely.
So I think that's awesome.
Definitely.
Do you have anything, Nicole?
I have a couple questions. Like, what is it like being an Asian American business owner? Have you had any difficulties? How did she pick her location? How did you decide where you wanted to open your first location? And realistically, I guess my biggest question is, like, do you have any, like, societies or groups that you like connect with that also, like, understand and know what you're doing and supporting what you're doing? Because I know there's a lot of, like, Asian American, like, associations here, and if that has been helpful to you, having somebody that's authentic to your culture, that's also helping you to build and grow your brand. So they'll.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll.
Those are some of the things.
Okay.
You want to go ahead, Jamie?
Yeah. Hang on. I'm trying to think of how to word it. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
So as an Asian American woman and a business owner, I'm sure that brings forth some unique challenges and experiences, even maybe some opportunities. Can you speak a little bit to that?
I would say as an Asian American, because I came to the States about 10 years ago, so like English is not my native language. There's still a little bit of language barrier to me, and then the cultural barrier, and that's something I need to overcome, because as a business owner, I need to do a lot more outreach in order to have a lot more people know about our business. So that's something I'm always trying to work on. I'm trying not to limit myself just to meet other Asians, but different kind of people, different kind of backgrounds. I'm especially excited to, I'm so glad that while I'm trying to build this business, I've met all different kind of people, different kind of backgrounds, like my interior designer, you know, the artist who paint the wall, you know, the people who help me, you know, do the paper, like different kind of people. That's where the fun comes in.
Very cool. So kind of going to your strategic of opening a restaurant, because it's very strategic, because something as simple as people not having enough parking or making a left turn through traffic could literally make or break you. So what kind of research and what did you go about in picking your location that you felt would be the optimal location for you to make you as successful as you could be?
For me, when I think of location, I would think of somewhere that has a lot of foot traffic. And for a city like LA, it's such a large city, a lot of people drive. There's only a couple locations that people will walk around. Downtown is one of them. And then also downtown is a little bit different community compared to other areas. Is that people in downtown, they tend to be more adventurous. And downtown has a lot of potential.
Yes, it does.
There's a lot of, you know, developers comes in, a lot of new business owner comes in.
It's changed a lot.
It changed a lot. And for me, it's also less riskier because I'm growing with the area. It's not like if I'm moving to Beverly Hills, first the rent is a lot higher, and then also there's already other, you know, established business there that I have to compete with.
Yeah, you're getting in on the ground floor, and as it blows up, you're already there, and you become that pillar of that growth. So I definitely think that's important too. You know, as a lot of ethnic communities have, and as a lot of ethnic communities have, specifically the Asian communities, there's a large support network. So is that something that you were able to tap into for funding or anything to get you off the ground, or give me a little, if you tapped into that Asian network of everything, is that something that you used to get you started as well?
Because I graduated from college about like 2 years ago. So the first networking group that I tap into, it's alumni network.
Definitely.
Very smart.
Yes.
So that's how I got to meet with other people or other business owners, and ask advice from them, and then they grow from there.
Okay.
Awesome.
So where'd you go to school? That was my next question. Where'd you graduate from?
I graduated from UCLA.
UCLA.
2
Okay.
years ago.
The Bruins. All right. All right. So we're wrapping up with Jenny from Little Fluffy Head Cafe. And
Let us know where we can find you.
yeah, let us know where we can
Social
find you
media.
on social media. You know, your telephone number, store address, like any of that information that people can reach out and follow you and kind of see what you're doing.
Sure, we're located on 203 West 7th Street in downtown Los Angeles. And our phone number, our phone number is 213-266-8495.
And where can they find you on social media?
They can tag us, they can find us on Instagram at Little Fluffy Head. And also they can find us on Facebook. Also, the name of the Facebook page is Little Fluffy Head.
And don't forget, if you sign up using our promo code, which is what?
TGIF.
You save how much?
30%.
Don't forget to sign up. Thank you guys. Stay tuned for next week.
Bye.
Peace out.
Episode of TGIF, Thank God I'm a Foodie, is brought to you by As at Play. As at Play is a social media marketing company that's made up of a team of performance-based marketers that have innovated the world of digital growth marketing since 2006. They develop compelling content to assist the growth of your business, your audience, leads, and sales. If you're on Facebook, you need to contact this wonderful company because they will help take your brand to new heights. You can go to their website at ads@play.com or give them a call at 626-624-4243. Just tell them TNE, Thank God I'm a Foodie, sent you.